Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest on the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to Apply. All right, so today I have David Ciccarelli on the line, and he's CEO at Voices.com. David, welcome to the show.
Awesome. Hey, great to be here, Adam. Thanks for having me.
All right, David. So as we are warming up for the interview, the first thing I had to say was I'm looking at it, I'm like, wait a minute, why aren't we using Voices.com? We need to use some of this voice talent and this amazing talent you have on the website. So first off, I'm excited to get into the platform and bring that to my audience so that they can also use it as a resource. But just to get us kicked off, we'll start this episode like we start them all with our Mission Matters Minute. So, David, we at Mission Matters, we amplify stories for entrepreneurs, executives, and experts. That's our mission. David, what mission matters to you?
Well, we believe that the human voice is unique in its ability to inform and entertain and inspire audiences from around the world. So we exist to hopefully make the world a more positive and accessible place through the power of the human voice. So that's kind of the why statement. But the what we do and kind of our mission is really to create that definitive destination, that go-to place that connects people with the right voice to tell their story, the right voice to bring their words to life.
Man, what a mission. And we're obviously brand aligned. I mean, our thought process around voice and just the way it travels and the way that people digest it and just the difference that you can make. It's amazing to me. And then looking at your platform, just the diversity, just the options, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, it's one of, if not the largest marketplace for voice talent. Am I off on this?
No, you're spot on. I mean, we started over 15 years ago. It was a husband and wife, my dear wife and I. We started the company, just the two of us. And, with myself as an audio engineer. And I opened up a small recording studio and actually got my name in the local newspaper. And that's actually how I met Stephanie. She came in because she wanted to record her singing voice and her singing repertoire. We started working together, but because of that same newspaper article, there were other small businesses in town that wanted a voiceover to be done. Mm-hmm. And so they wanted a female voice. So I knew one girl in the city, and that was Stephanie. I gave her a call. I said, you be the voice talent, I'll be the engineer, and what if we just split the money 50-50 and we'll go into business together? So that's how it all began. And you're right, it grew from kind of just the two of us to really becoming the largest platform of its kind with over 2 million freelance voice talent from around the world. Wow. I mean, there's, of course, the range from those who are aspiring, who've been told their whole life, you've got a great voice, you should be on radio, you should do public speaking, all the way through to professional full-time voice actors who do national ad campaigns for the world's biggest brands, narrating for National Geographic or the Discovery Channel, through to, some of those important messages like we are sharing today, those, product explainer videos, maybe a public service announcement, you name it. Anytime that you hear the human voice, fact is somebody's going into a studio and reading that script and kind of giving their all and hopefully communicating that message with intention and that it hits home with the audience the way it's meant to.
So I don't want to assume there's a lot of businesses, a lot of people out there that are thinking about content creation and things like that. And when they hear the word voiceover, a lot of times, or just voice talent or things like that, they start thinking entertainment, they start thinking movies, they start thinking a lot of other things. But now in this day and age of content creation and brands needing, and when I say brands, we're not talking about Coca-Cola here. I mean, this could be the local bakery. It could be whatever. It doesn't matter now. It's all changed. It could be the contractor. I mean, a lot of different things. Like you need different types of content. My preference is for professional talent. I just think it comes out better. I think it represents brands better, and it just sets you above the competition in many ways for certain types of content that's being created. You have a very unique vantage point. So in explaining that, you have a very unique vantage point because you sit at the helm of watching what pretty much many businesses are doing in terms of content creation and things like that, specifically related to voice and otherwise. Like, what are you seeing? Like, what kind of trends? Like, what's interesting to you in the marketplace that you're seeing?
Well, you're right. It's, most people immediately think of, a radio commercial or a TV ad, right? The traditional broadcast type of content. In fact, that's only about 10% of the overall voice content that's produced is in that classic kind of traditional. Yeah, you're right on. So then what becomes, quote unquote, the non-broadcast? Well, it's everything from a phone system recording to a podcast intro and outro or some kind of online ad. But the number one category, Adam, is what we call online videos. Now, it's a bit of a broad category, but it's ranging from everything from a voice being used in an explainer video. Maybe somebody's doing a product launch video for a Kickstarter campaign. Maybe they already have a business and they're promoting it on social media, but you're right, they want to have a professional talent. But I mean, there's any number of applications, but this online video category grew at over 200% this year. So it's definitely the fastest growing, and they're relatively easy to do. They're often 30, 60 seconds at most, kind of cost a few $100 to get done by a professional, and they can turn them around in a day or so. So there's a lot that kind of leans into and kind of captures this thirst for, when we say marketers, like it's not necessarily the big brands. We work with a lot of small businesses that are creating their own content and telling their own story. And they're realizing that voice is a powerful medium to be able to do that.
So a lot of platforms, obviously, in the marketplace that serve different needs for voice or, marketing or different things in general. Like, what do you think are one of the things that separate Voicey.com, let's just say, from some of the competitors in the marketplace?
Yeah, I mean, the rise of the freelance economy is certainly upon us. I think there's huge, generalist platforms like the Fivers and Upworks, which we have tremendous respect for. I mean, they've really both gone from startups in their own right and become publicly traded companies on the stock exchange. So they've just really overtaken, the world in a lot of ways. Now, I would say how we differ is we try to offer a purpose-built experience all around listening. So just like you would go to, for instance, on LinkedIn, you'd be reading somebody's profile. Do I want to work with this person? What are their credentials? Same thing on a general kind of horizontal freelance marketplace, like those I'd mentioned previously. You're really reading is kind of the default posture, if you will. But on voices.com, you're actually listening. So yes, you can read about the experience of the talent, but more importantly, you can hear their voice. So there's little embedded audio players. You can click play and hear everything from a monster truck rally to a phone system greeting to an audiobook being narrated. All the talent kind of have their own specialties. And it's not just the profile. It's the search results. It's kind of the talent directory. But where it really becomes evident in terms of a point of differentiation is when you post a job on voices.com, you get a response of the talent who's interested in working with you. Sure, they're going to quote on the job how much they think it's going to cost and kind of their expectations on timeline. But most importantly, they're going to read a sample of your script. So, Adam, you actually get to hear your own words come to life, which I think is really cool. You're kind of, almost hearing, does this person sound like they fit my brand identity? Are they delivering enough energy or perhaps too much? Maybe it's a different kind of, you need a more professional, subdued sound, kind of a straight read. But whatever it is, you're hearing people actually audition for you. And when you find the right voice that works for you and your project, you can go ahead and hire them through the platform. So I think that purpose-built around the active listening is one of the main things that differentiates voices from those in the marketplace.
So we've kind of tackled the the voices.com story, if you will, from the business or the employer side of things, and like who can benefit from hiring. Let's talk a little bit about the talent side of things, because I think it's amazing. Like, especially in this gig economy, and with people looking for other ways to earn money and to really leverage their gifts to be able to earn, right, to create these win-win scenarios. Tell us a little bit more about the talent side of things and how kind of response you've gotten there.
Yeah, the talent they develop an amazing community on Voices. And I mean, this industry's been around for well over 100 years. I mean, in the early 1920s, actually, it was Mel Blanc was hired by Warner Brothers to do the first voices for animated characters like Bugs Bunny and Tweety Bird and Porky Pig. And really, since then, the industry's operated much the same way. You have, a big producer or a studio that wants to hire a talent. And historically, they work through a talent agency, and you'd have to be in New York or Los Angeles. But nowadays, the cost of the home-based recording studios is kind of somewhere in the $2,500 of $2,500 range, where you can work with your probably the computer you have, a USB microphone, soundproof your room, get some recording software that might be a couple $100 for a pro version of some of the software to record yourself. So the technology's made it more accessible. And then being able to tap into a marketplace like voices.com to be able to get access to these job opportunities, of which there's 5,000 new jobs rolling in every month. So lots of opportunity to go around.
5,000, so that's significant.
Yeah, 5,000. Yeah, I mean, we started with one, right? I remember getting the one a day, and then it was like, one a week, then one a day. So it's pretty incredible. The talent, I mean, our business is based on shared success with the talent. And this notion of shared success is really important. We only can rise up and continue to grow and bring on more clients who ultimately hire the talent, right? If we can help those talent raise their game, if they can know how to use the platform, but more importantly, how to be business owners in and of themselves. They're freelancers, yes, but in a lot of ways, they view themselves as sole proprietaries or as business owners. And so the more we can teach them the talent community about everything from quoting and negotiating through to, even replying to jobs. The craft, there's a lot of coaches and other agents, that we bring on as experts on our own podcasts and other kind of documents and resource guides. But we ultimately realize that we're only as successful as the talent are. So that kind of feeds into our thinking about how to create a community, but a community who's supportive of one another, who encourages one another. I mean, and then, a couple of times a year, there's some fun events that we do. One I'll highlight is the upcoming Voicey Awards, where we celebrate kind of the most successful talent on the marketplace. Top voice in radio commercials, top voice for internet videos, top voice in any of the categories or ages or particular language as well too. And we send them out some nice trophies and some awards as well too. So these are the type of things that can create community. And we hope to do a lot more of that in the future as well.
Oh man, the Voiceys, that's awesome. I'm in. That's really cool. And I think it's one of those things that when you talk about like platforms and why they've grown, I just feel like the DNA, the culture that you're building, not just internally, but with the community at large that you've built over, I said, I think the last 15 years. I think it's amazing.
Yeah, that's right.
How important has the culture been? Like, how would you attribute that to maybe some of the growth?
Yeah, I would take this kind of two angles. There's the inside view, right? And there's the late Peter Drucker described the role of the CEO, or really any business leader, is to bridge the outside world with the inside world, meaning what's happening out there in the market with your customers, in the news and media, in developments of technology. How does that apply to your business? So your role as a leader is to bridge that gap. But then inside the organization, you're the information bearer. You need to synthesize and make sense of it all and relay that to your team. And so part of that is like, do you have a culture where information is free-flowing, where you're very transparent with how you're operating, how you're performing as a business? And so we've gone to lengths. We have some, routines or rituals, if you will, where we do that at voices.com with a team of almost 130 employees, full-time employees now, that support the community of, as I say, several million. But one of those routines is what we call the weekly huddle, where every Monday, just before lunch at 11:45, we used to get all together in person and kind of huddle up in one big room. But now, of course, we do that all virtually. But in doing so, we run through good news for the week. We talk about our numbers. We share any customer impact stories. And then we celebrate kind kind of any thank yous near the end of that. So these type of, culture isn't just, kind of merely something we say and we talk about, but we try to live that out through these touchstones throughout the week. The weekly huddle is one, and then once a quarter we do kind of a more elaborate version of that called the rally, which is another great experience. But I mean, maybe just to put a finer point on it, Adam, I'd say culture is best defined as behavior in the absence of policy. So if you as a leader never wrote any handbooks down or guides of corporate behavior, how would everyone behave, right? And how are you going to act, and how do you treat customers? And it's that kind of inherent sense of responsibility, that inherent sense of behavior, that being played out in real time, that's the true essence of what culture is. I think we've created a great one at Voices, and hopefully that's extending out to the impact that we're also having on the customers that we serve.
Fantastic. Well, David, it's been great having you on the show today to learn more about your background as an entrepreneur, also Voices.com, the community you've built. I mean, it's amazing. And they also get the vantage point from the inside and your views on culture. I can see why, all of this combined has definitely been a recipe for success. If people want to learn more and they want to, connect with your team, what's the best way to do that?
Yeah, I think the best way to get involved is just to visit voices.com and click the sign up button in the corner. It's completely free. You can sign up with your Google or Apple account, and by doing so, you get to pick whether you're a voice talent or interested in being a voice talent, and set up a profile that way, and we'll send you all kinds of resources. Or if you are a client, maybe you are a business owner yourself, and you're thinking, yeah, you know what, I really am thinking about creating an online video. I'd like a professional narrator. You can pick, I want to hire a talent, and we will make sure we give you a hand that way. Find someone great for your project, and more importantly, for the brand that you're creating. So that's the best way to get in touch. If you want to reach out to me personally, LinkedIn is a great way, just David Ciccarelli on LinkedIn, and I'll always be sure to extend my network whenever I can, and hopefully lending a helping hand and maybe form a new relationship that way.
Awesome. Well, we'll definitely put the voices.com website, all that good stuff in the show notes, so our audience can just head on right over, click on it, and head right on over and check out the site. And to the audience, if this is your first time here with Mission Matters, just to let you know, we're a platform that's really dedicated to bringing out entrepreneurs and executives and experts and having them share their mission, how they're adding value to the marketplace, like why do they do what they do. And our goal with that is to, hopefully inspire and educate our audience and all, go along this journey together. So if they are into that type of content, we'd love to have you hit that subscribe button, because we have many, many more mission-based entrepreneurs and executives coming on the line, and we don't want you to miss a thing. And David, really, it has been a pleasure. Thanks again for coming on the show.
Right back at you. Thanks so much, Adam. Really appreciate it.
All right, David. So we'll cut the audio there. Of course, you knock it out of the park because you are a professional. I know you know how to do this stuff.
Man, that was great. No, you're asking spot on questions. I loved it.
No, man, it's awesome. It's good. I learned a lot. I think the platform, the story, man, what an amazing story. 15 years later, you look up and you're like, whoa, how'd this happen? And I'm not saying there wasn't a lot of pain, and I'm not saying there wasn't a lot of work that went into it, but it's still, you must sometimes look back and say, this is amazing. It started with one gig, right? You never know.
Yeah. Well, you just stick with the same thing long enough, right? That's the key, is like you just, I think you find one little slice of the world and you just stick with it. So I appreciate you giving me, likewise, a platform to tell that story. It means a lot to me.
Absolutely. So one quick last note, what is the best email that you want my team to send you over all the content when it's up and live? Oh,
yes. Can you send it just to david@voices.com, and then we'll be sure to share all that on social as well, too, once it's live.
david@voices.com. All right, perfect.
Yep,
so
easy enough.
I'll also CC Oscar Hamilton, so they have it and they have the content as well. If you need anything else, you have my contact info. Feel free to reply. I'm here, okay?
I will. Thanks,
awesome.
Thanks, my friend.
Thank you so much, David.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye now, Adam.